Well, good. How'd you sneak over there?
I was wondering the same thing. Switch me.
Oh man, I can't put you in the driver's seat tonight. Maybe another night. I don't know about.
Fair. You were you were a busy man this weekend.
This is one of them shows that we're gonna have to navigate today, especially since it's only the two of us.
For
For
real.
now, E is on his way. Don't worry about that, guys. So, welcome to episode 18 of New York Football Talks. It's Andre Johnson from Sage Media Solutions, and of course, it's my partner in crime, Jared Valluzzi from Uzzi Sports / Newsday. What's up, Jared?
Oh man, I've been waiting for this one, Dre. Ever since Friday night, and then Saturday made it even more exciting. And now we're here, man. It's gonna be pretty crazy. Yeah, Dre really did. Like, first thing I had to say was like, dude, he put in pain this weekend. Like, and really put on for the city. So thank you, Dre.
Listen, really appreciate that, man. Carl, really appreciate you. I think I saw Carl in every single chat. There were 3 different chats this weekend. Saw him in every single one. So really appreciate you, Charles. Carl, excuse me. Lars was the word, my guy. Big up to Staten Island. What a weekend for Staten Island.
Crazy.
What a weekend for Staten Island. Of course, we're gonna lead with that, man. Letting some people file in. 38 people in here already. My guy Lyle. The trophy is back home on
It's a
the
big
right.
one for them. Yeah.
Yo, my guy Gio, where are you? Wait for him and his flowers, because if he was wrong, y'all would have flamed him. So
That's true.
y'all better give E his flowers when he walks in. He put himself out in front for everyone, made the big call. E was right, man.
And he was close to being wrong too. He was really close.
I mean, it's E Hall Tottenville. It's a coin flip almost.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Man. Yeah. I'm just playing.
McKee Negron, welcome, man. Good win for Lincoln. We'll get into that later in the show.
Rolling, man. Lincoln is rolling.
Man, there's just so much to talk about. Again,
appreciate a lot,
you, Carl. All right. So first of all, we have to start as we always start. The $1,000 Sage Standout Student Section Scholarship. Tottenville did a really, really good job this weekend. They had the blackout theme in the stands, had the blackout theme with the players. I'm not even going to lie. If it was Erasmus Hall fans, they really showed out too. So.
Yo, dude.
Shout out to
they're loud, dude.
The traveling Erasmus Hall fans, because they thought that it was their turn to win the scholarship.
Yeah, I think like houses like way down the road could just hear E Hall from like all the way at 100 Luton.
Yeah, so just shout out to the traveling E Hall fans for sure. It's definitely not a. It took me. I left from Eagles Field. It took me like an hour and a half to an hour 45 to get over there. So shout out to all of them for real. This weekend it is JFK's turn, which I think JFK is a sleeper for this. It's their homecoming. Their homecoming this weekend. So let's see if JFK can really make some noise for themselves this weekend. I thought they represented themselves very well. Of course, we're going to get into that insane game versus Eagle Brooklyn. And of course, become a member to our YouTube channel. You get access to the member-only broadcast, and you get access to custom chat emojis. It's only right that I use to show you guys the emojis. I use the big winners of the weekend, which was Coach Neville and Tottenville. So we will definitely get into that later. Again, we have over 60 members. Really appreciate every single one of them. They got access to 2 member-only live streams. Right now, we have 2 up to 3 planned for the month of October. So definitely make sure you guys join in. I will put the link in the chat again. My guy Nasim, another person who's been in the chat this whole weekend. Really appreciate you, man. And that's another thing I love about the memberships too. It's so much easier to recognize people I see in the chat now because they look different. Like your chat actually like stands out more amongst people, especially during the Tottenville E-Hall game. So listen, Jared, 65 people here.
Let's do it.
I think we scrolled long enough.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. 38-35 Tottenville over E-Hall in one of the just another classic between these two teams. Jared, let's just start at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where do we even begin, Dre?
Let's start at the end. Let's start at the end. We are going to start at the end, but we're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it as a cumulative, if you don't mind me going first.
Please do.
There are two players I want to give the opening spotlight to, absolutely. The first is Mr. Justin McGuire. Coming into this season, I was high on Justin. I was like, listen, I saw enough in the regular season matchup last year between E-Hall and Tottenville. I thought he was excellent in that game. And how does he follow it up? 16 for 21, 281 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jared, just I'll let you give him his flowers as well, man.
Dude,
Justin McGuire, man.
He was making some serious plays, and I mean Tottenville, they had to pass the ball. I mean Erasmus was doing a good job at certain points, you know, especially up front, stopping the run, where McGuire had to make plays, and there was times where, you know, he had to make some throws on the run, make some difficult plays, and he was able to do it. I mean, 16 of 21, 281 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's pretty crazy, man. And, you know, we always like to say like how he's a veteran and everything. The experience was really on display for both QBs, but we're starting with McGuire right now. I mean, what Justin was able to do against, you know, Erasmus, which has a really good secondary, it was really impressive. And his connection with Gavin Ledwith is like kind of took everyone by storm. It was really, really impressive. And yeah, McGuire made just a ton of plays, you know, calm, cool, and collective. He was really impressive. And, you know, those wideouts for Tottenville really came to play, and they needed to.
Yeah, I mean, his pocket presence, his decision making, those are honestly, like, if we even, before we even talk about his accuracy, like just his pocket presence, his decision making, when to make the risky throw, when to pull it down and run. We didn't think that he had that in his arsenal, but he showed that he's a capable runner as well.
Yeah.
And if we just talk about the accuracy and the timing of the throws, you know, in that post-game interview, you know, especially what stood out to me was, you know, talking with Nick Constantino, and Nick was like, yeah, you know, me and him, we say, yo, look at the DB's leverage, you know, based off his leverage, we both know what's going to be there. We work on this all the time. The comeback routes, the out routes, that's something we're going to talk about in specifically. You know, I give him the look. He gives me the look. He knows that he can rely on me to make a play. And, you know, the story of this game, yes, it was the end, but the third down conversions for Tottenville were third and longs. I counted maybe 5, 6 third and longs that they were able to convert, and it just keeps E-Hall's offense off the field, makes their defense have to stay out there for another set of downs. it was just a fantastic display from Justin McGuire. So I just wanted to make sure I opened it up, giving him his flowers. And the second person that deserves flowers, let me see if the stats were updated. But the second person that deserves flowers in this game is Mr. Kendu Brown to me.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt, Kendu is the starting quarterback for Erasmus Hall. The amount of pressure that title comes with is insane. Okay, they don't have the stats yet, unfortunately, so I can't shout out his stats. The amount of pressure that comes with that is insane. You know, other positions I can think of that kind of hold similar weight. You know, quarterback for St. Anthony's. I mean, at this point, probably just a quarterback for Iona, just because the quarterback for St. Anthony's, you know, quarterback for Iona Prep, and you know, quarterback for Curtis, and quarterback for Erasmus. I mean, you know, those are hot seats to be in. And I thought Kendu was excellent. You know, people can have their own opinions on the performance. I thought it was an excellent performance. 2 touchdowns rushing, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And I felt like his decision making again was fantastic. You know, speaking to some people that might have said, oh, like maybe he could have made a few more throws. But I'm sitting there like, listen, like when he decided to tuck it and run, those were the correct decisions to make. The throws weren't there. You know, he probably rushed for over 60 yards in that game.
Way more. Yeah.
Yeah, right. He was able to deliver it to his playmakers when he needed to. One of the 2 plays that stand out immediately are, you know, opening the second half, of course, the throw to Justice Murray to open up that half, and the strength of having 2 Tottenville players hanging on him to flip it to Jair, who we're going to talk about Jair.
Yeah.
To flip it to him, which he scores a 60-some-odd yard touchdown, gets called back for a dodgy block in the blindside block, in my opinion. But it was just a tremendous performance from him. So how about you talk about Kendu's performance from your perspective, man?
Yeah, you know, honestly, one of the things with him, like that I really, because last year, right, when him and Justice were splitting the snaps, it was more like, all right, a lot of people classified it like, all right, Kendu's the pocket passer, Justice is more of the runner. Dude, Kendu can run, man. I mean, like when he was taken off, he was very effective. Like he was getting a lot of yards. Like I think, like, because I was unofficially statting the game, he was very close to 100 yards rushing. I'm interested to see what E-Hall got him at, but he was very close to 100 yards rushing. He made a lot of good plays, a lot of great throws, and I mean, you look at it, right? Other than I think they had maybe 1 turnover in the red zone. But other than that, like they took care of the ball. And this was the type of game that like E-Hall and Tottenville, like, you know, they didn't score like instantly on an 80-yard play, but like their offense would drive down the field, you know, take off time on the clock, but they were constantly just getting first downs, moving the chains, doing what they wanted to. And a lot of the credit had to go to Kendu and Justin for, you know, commanding, you know, these offenses, because I think it was a lot different than last year's semifinal game, right? Last year's semifinal, I mean, it was high scoring, of course, but it was the running back stealing the show. This time, I mean, you know, I think Kendu did a great job. I think Justin did a great job. And of course, we're going to get to the running backs. They still played a big role too.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I see you guys in the chat. Let's get into it. Listen, you can say, "Oh, Dre, you ducking." We're not ducking nothing. I think the lead story in this is the play of these quarterbacks. 2 quarterbacks that come under a lot of criticism.
Why'd you have to put
And
that up?
that come under a lot of criticism. So yes, let's get into it.
Let's talk about it.
The end of the game. There was something else. Where did Carl put that? Okay. This right here. Did E-Hall have a timeout when they spiked the ball? So I called someone on the E-Hall staff. They told me that they did not have a timeout. They did not have a timeout.
Yeah, they didn't.
I also updated the. I know there was a question in the chat, especially because our graphic had them having a timeout. Obviously, our communication with everyone on field is impossible. So we're doing the best that we can, trying to keep track of what the referees are saying and stuff like that. Sometimes it's a little tough. So I did put something, I did pin a comment, because I know some people are going to come back to that game and ask a question about the timeout. They look at the graphic. So it was confirmed that E-Hall did not have a timeout, first of all. All right. I went back and I watched the sequence. You mind if I take this first, Jared? All right.
Yeah, do it. It's crazy.
I went back and watched the sequence, right? So you guys can go back and watch it as well, but it was a 1st and 8 after it was a block in the back penalty. Kendu rushes for a first down. They're on the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 35. Jair brings it to the 28. 2nd and 4. Jair is a gain of 3. And there was a timeout called. So after the 2nd down, there was a timeout called. It is the responsibility of the staff in a timeout to go over the state of the game. I mean, if you play football, if you played any kind of sport, when you get into that huddle. So first of all, when you're on the court, your head's thinking about your court, the field, your head's thinking about 1,000 different things. When you come to the timeout, the coaches and the staff are supposed to go over the state of the game, kind of pull everybody back in. We do have to lay criticism there, right? There was a timeout called after the 2nd down. It brings us to 3rd and 1. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. So it brings us to 3rd and 1. And then they got another first down, right? Mm-hmm. So they got another first down after that. And then there was another timeout. So after the first down, so it was 1st and 10, they ran that reverse. And then there was another timeout. I just don't understand where the miscommunication was. If we want to talk about the board, the board that says 1st, 2nd, 3rd down, maybe there was something slow on the board, because I personally also thought after the timeout, it was 1st down still. After they came out of the timeout, they on the 2nd and 9, Kendu threw an incomplete pass. I looked back at the live stream. You guys can look at it yourself. I'll put the timestamp in the live stream for the live stream. So at 3 hours and 38 seconds, you can see right before they snapped the ball on 3rd down, the board said 3rd down. The board said 3rd down. On the 3rd and 9, one of the most underrated plays in this whole thing that is getting lost, and that's our job to bring the context back. Omar Mendez Jr. did not give up on the 3rd down play.
It's huge.
And that is something that it's our job to highlight because it brings context into the whole situation. And hopefully it's a teaching moment. I know these are varsity football players we're talking to, but hopefully it's a teaching moment for everyone. Like when you're on that field, you cannot give up 1 inch. Omar Mendez Jr. makes a shoestring tackle to bring it to 4th and 1, and then the spike happens. So when people like us come on here and say don't give up, when your coaches say don't give up, and you guys roll your eyes because it's a cliche, a bunch of old wash guys, this is the proof in the pudding. Omar Mendez in his effort might have nothing was won on Friday, right? 1 game was won on Friday. A championship has not been decided on Friday. But depending on how the rest of the seeding goes, it could be the difference between a semifinal matchup at 100 Luton versus a semifinal matchup at Sid Luckman.
Yep.
So, like I said, 2 timeouts were called in the stretch of games, plays I was talking about. And, I think it's not even crazy for me to say, and I think the staff of Erasmus Hall would admit that, they have to be better in that situation. They have to be better. And I also spoke to some other coaches afterwards. And, every coach I spoke to said they have a story of, being on the sideline and not realizing what down it is. So it's not the most uncommon thing to happen, but that was a bad spot for it to happen. Jared.
Yeah, obviously pretty crazy. I want to say they got the ball back. Might have been like, maybe you have it, Dre. Probably like around like 5 minutes or so, maybe more, honestly. After they got the stop
to start the drive.
Yeah, because they ate a lot of clock. They were doing a job where they're trying to have the ball last, and it was that type of game. Also big credit to Kendall Brown, who had a big sack, made it 3rd and long, and then I think Ehol got another sack, so they got the ball back. So they had a big defensive stop, which they didn't get many of those that game, but got the ball back. That was huge. Then the drive itself, I mean, Kendu Brown and Jair Lewis both had some, very big runs, setting them up in position to succeed. And they both played really well. And then obviously, the spike happens. You gave credit to Omar. Credit's definitely due there. I spoke with Coach Lamberg about it, and the staff obviously said it's it's our job to know that it wasn't 3rd down. The yard marker actually said it was 3rd down on the field. For people who don't know that, but the staff obviously said it's our job to know that it's not. And then they called to spike it, and that was that. But I mean, mistakes happen at every single level of football. That's just, that's how it goes. So it is a very interesting what if game. If they did run that play, what happens? But it's good it's just a regular season, because hopefully we get this matchup again. So yeah, it's all pretty crazy. Miscommunication was the kind of what ended this game. And yeah, but I think where we can also go to this, a huge thing in this game, and I want to go back a little bit since I talked about the ending already. It was 38-27 Tottenville. 8 minutes left. I look from the press box, and rightfully so. I see the blackout crowd dancing, this place is buzzing. It looks like Tottenville has Erasmus Hall. And then Justice Murray was like, no, not yet. It was insane. Takes it not, and he paused and looked around once he had the ball, kind of hesitated a little bit, and then he was just gone. It was honestly one of the most electric plays that I've seen. So that was really cool. Then their defense made a stop, and then obviously it drove downfield, but then the spike happened. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. First of all, want to give a huge shout out, of course, to Mr. Mr. Gavin led with,
Yeah.
4 receptions, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. And what he doesn't get credit for, that last touchdown catch, that celly was cold, bro. That was a cold celly. He caught the ball, as I'll say. Yeah, that was cold. I can't lie. That was a fire celebration. I can't lie. And the Tottenville crowd, just lost it. The resilience of E-Hall is just, it's ingrained in their DNA. Like, this team will not die. This team will not give up until the very, very last whistle. If you were at that game when Justin McGuire threw that touchdown pass, you saw it was the double-digit lead. I think everyone kind of looked up. Everyone kind of, nodded their head. It was like, yeah, it's Tottenville's night. Like, this is this is Tottenville's night. And when we talk about players, and when we make lists and stuff like that, and people want to talk about stats, and I understand stats are an important part of this game. I'm going to say, I don't care if someone shows me stats of a player in this league having 250 yards receiving and return 3 kicks for a touchdown. I'm going to say Justice Murray is probably the better athlete. Not to disrespect you, but just because in that moment, that is what true, like, game-breaking players make. When things are going well for you, it's not so hard to perform. Let's be honest, right? When you're playing football, your line's blocking, you're high-fiving everybody after every play. It's a great day. Deli, what's the word, man? Hopefully you saw Jared give you your shout out, man. I thought you were excellent. I'm going to talk about some other Dutchmen I thought were excellent as well. Anthony, I don't know. What is this? Talk about the fact that 9 teams in the 4A can't compete. Anthony, this is every league in every spot in this country.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about JFK later, but
yeah, I mean, like, and Anthony, I don't mean to kind of make this a big thing, but I don't know what it is about the PSAL. Maybe it's because E-Hall was winning for so long. Like, you have to be fair in your analysis, right? Like, yeah, I don't work for the PSAL or anything like that, right? It's the Stage Media. I don't have a PSAL shirt on, but you have to be fair in your analysis. Like, every league is like this. Every single league. There's 4 or 5 teams that regularly compete for the championship, and then the other teams in the league try to compete and do the best that they can. This is every single league. I mean, let's start with Long Island. Massapequa and Farmingdale have played each other in the Nassau Long Island Championship. How many years in a row now? Oceanside might get sprinkled in there.
Yeah, it's the same teams in each division, yeah. That is what it is. I mean, we don't, self-explanatory.
Yeah, like, I won't even get all into it, but I don't know. It's like this thing I keep seeing pop up with the PSAL, and I'm like, guys, like, PSAL isn't above criticism, but come on, every league is like this. Anyway, yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to Justice Murray. Like, that return was just incredible. And if we want to go backwards again, we've been speaking about this game for 15-20 minutes, haven't brought up Tyshawn Bent, which is crazy.
Yeah, need to. What a game, dude. Super underrated.
Yeah, man. Tyshawn is like, he's so good that it's just like expected. I was really thinking about this, and I was like, man, like, has Tyshawn ever not shown up in a big game? Always. He's played in so many big games in his career, and we'll say, I can't even say. I was going to say the one game is maybe the Curtis game from last year, but he scored a touchdown in that game. So, and then the whole team was struggling that day.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Tyshawn Bent, listen, I don't know where he falls in the pantheon of PSAL greats throughout time. Like I know of course, I understand they're NFL players. They're NFL players that came out, running backs that came out of Tottenville. But Tyshawn Bent is one of the greatest products of the PSAL in quite some time. So, Jerry, you just go and give him his flowers. I mean, I'm just going to read off his stats here. 14 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown, man.
Yeah, he's a stud. I thought Erasmus Hall's defense, did a good job. And I was talking to E-Hall, and there's like, a player like Tyshawn Bent, you can't stop him. You just gotta like try to contain him. He's like, because he's gonna get his at some point, and that's what he did. When he got space on that screen pass, gone. And like when he was in that open space, it was dangerous. He made people miss. He was looking really good on one of his touchdowns too. I mean, legs still churning, able to like move a pile. Obviously had some help from his lineman, but like showing the power. It's he shows different aspects of his game that are so impressive. And of course, always showing up on the big stage, that helps. And a big congratulations to him and this whole team, especially Bent. He's been kind of the guy since his freshman year. His career stats are nuts over there at Tottenville. And he was 0-5 against Erasmus Hall going into this game, but 3 touchdowns and a win, and he's able to get that done.
Did you confirm that? Is it only 0-5? Are you sure?
What, you think it's more?
Because they lost twice last year.
And then twice his sophomore year, and then his freshman year, they didn't beat Lincoln in the quarterfinals.
Oh, they didn't play them? Okay.
Yeah, Lincoln won.
Okay, got you. I thought it was more than 5, man. Listen,
Lincoln won, and like, and that was the year like Canarsie was really good and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when I was interviewing him, man, and he walked into the camera, I was like, Ty, I didn't think I'd ever see you in this interview, man. I didn't know if you would make it. We keep putting you in the game of the week, but you guys, weren't able to get it done. But he's just has had such a tremendous career. On that play you're talking about, Jared, that screen pass. I mean, he broke 6 tackles, 6 Dutchmen. And this is Erasmus Hall. 6 Dutchmen had a chance to tackle him.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I know I said it on the broadcast, but man, I mean, 2nd and 20, they blitzed 2, so they sent 5 in general. Listen, it's a tough play call in my opinion, but I mean, I don't know who the offensive coordinator for Tottenville is. If someone in the chat can let me know, show him love, because I felt like Tottenville's play calling was excellent. Always had E-Hall on their toes. And they were just excellent. Some other players I want to give a shout out to. 3 players on defense actually for E-Hall. Number 34, Zaire Walden. Number 82, Xavier Hughes. And of course, number 19, Kendall Brown. And made a special spot for Kendall because he was being asked to do a lot in that game. He was playing outside linebacker. He was lining up at safety, and he was coming up and made a ton of plays. We don't have the stats for those guys, but I thought the defense, they gave up a lot of points, but one thing they did really well is that only 96 yards on the ground for Tyshawn is definitely below his average. Corey Brown, do I still have it open? Corey Brown didn't have his best day. Shout out to David Jacob. Stood up Corey and I got to see. I'm sorry, I didn't write down who punched it out. Oh, I did write down who punched it out. So David Jacob, held up Corey Brown, and number 24, Akeem Brown, came in and punched it out. And what I love about that play so much is 2 plays prior, Akeem Brown got burnt on a pass interference. And 2 plays later, he comes and punches the ball out in a huge spot. And again, massive flowers to the Erasmus Hall staff and development. You know what I'm saying? Just because all of those players just do not quit, man. So how about you just talk about some of those players on defense, man?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I love watching Akeem Brown play. He he had some really good moments. I watched him against Kennedy make a bunch of plays, and he was doing it against E Hall. Really fun to watch. And Dre, as I was in the booth, like obviously taking notes, watching the game, I kept on hearing you say Xavier Hughes. I mean, it felt like he was always, around the ball, made some key tackles. He was really impressive. There's also one kid that, I think is really having a sophomore year where he's like having a lot of flashes and will become one of the top players in the PSAL in like a year or two is Logan Clark Laurent for E-Hall. He had, obviously there is moments in his sophomore year where like, listen, he's going against a lot of top players. He's learning still, but he's also making some plays where he's going to wow you. And it's like, he's just a sophomore. That's pretty insane. He had good pass coverage on one play I remember in the red zone. He's going to be a dude. And the fact that E-Hall has him for another 2 seasons after this, I think is really, really big for them.
Yes. And the last Dutchman, last but not least, Mr. Jair Lewis.
Yeah. How did we almost? I mean, we weren't gonna forget him, but yeah, it's crazy we took this long to talk about him. The fact that E-Hall, like this offense, is this good without Amir Morrow shows how much talent they have. And Jair Lewis was having a day. He ran the ball extremely well. I don't mean to like take your thunder right now, Dre, but
Please.
Jair Lewis, he had me fired up, dude. He runs with a purpose. And like when you watch him like in person and see what he's up to, he can make some serious plays. He's banged up the last couple weeks, but I remember when they played Easton out in Pennsylvania, he was doing really well. He performed great against Tottenville. Man, am I excited to see him when he goes against Eagle. But it's this kid's a very good player. I was very impressed. The kid's a sick athlete.
Yeah, and again, it's just mentality. Again, mentality. That is like my favorite word.
And yeah, honestly, they were winning up front. Josiah's right.
Josiah, why did you beat me to it? I was about
was winning up front. Out. Yeah, Josiah Burgos 57. Yeah, and this offensive line, they were doing a good job, man. They were running. E-Hall was able to run the ball well, and the big guys up front made plays.
Yeah, man. Like, that's one. Again, I just wanted to talk about that as well. That's that offensive line. Huge shout out to them. Without their star running back, they got another star running back in Mr. Lewis, and it's mainly because of that offensive line. And I'm watching this game, and the Curtis matchup is in the back of my mind as I'm watching this game, as I'm analyzing this game. And a couple of people have spoken to me and they're like, Dre, like, what do you think? Like, who do you think is the favorites to win after this? And I have a very political, boring answer. I'm a politician now, apparently. But, it's like the Curtis matchup is so different from a Tottenville. Like Tottenville, Curtis E-Hall is so different from Tottenville E-Hall. Just the amount of especially the amount of pressure and like Curtis really tries to enforce themselves so aggressively on the day. And coming back to his offensive line, I did see, I was like, man, I feel better about that matchup because this offensive line was really combative and they did a really good job. Of course, Tottenville was missing Eli Jones. He's a big run stopper for them, but that offensive line was great. When it comes to Tottenville, I want to end on Tottenville. Of course, they were the winners. I am going to give myself some flowers. This might sound crazy right now, but I'm going to give.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is why. This is why, right? Because I've been talking about this ever since we had the podcast, right? And we're going to talk about some other teams, right? And I want to make this very, very clear, right? When you're giving your analysis on sports, right? It's very important that you have principles of what you believe in, so you can kind of build the foundation of your argument behind that, right? When I look at football, especially high school football, I value balance the most. I value balance, and I value your second option very highly. Why do I value balance? Because when you have balance, I mean, this should be very obvious, right? If you have balance, it puts the other team on the back heel. They're not sure what to do. They're not sure whether to drop back, 8 in coverage or to bring 7. It makes the game more of a chess match between the two coaches, and you can only really have that if you have balance, in my opinion. And it's not just coming down on JFK or Tottenville that run the ball heavily. I had the same criticism for Southshore, and I got yelled at for that too when I said that they needed to run the ball last year. Why? And then my second point is having a second option, right? Friday night was not Corey Brown's night, right? Last year in the semifinal, it was all about Corey Brown and TYJVisuals.
Yeah, this is that.
So, is Tottenville just going to drown because they're plan A? And he didn't have a terrible game, but is Tottenville just going to drown because their plan A isn't hitting on all cylinders? No, because of the balance they had. They had faith in Justin McGuire. They stuck with him. I've been to quite a few Tottenville games at this point. I've been to 3 Tottenville games this year. In Jersey, Justin was having a tough time throwing the ball. He was missing a lot of throws. In the first half, they started simplifying the offense a bit. He kind of got into a bit of a rhythm. I mean, it was the first game of the season. Southshore, I'm not sure if he missed a throw in Southshore, dicing them all over the field. And I felt like that trust and them not just relying on Tyshawn and Corey to carry them has ultimately cashed out in the biggest way and finally beating E-Hall. And I think we can officially say that that Tottenville have a 3-headed monster. I do think Nick Constantino is, when you talk about Tottenville, it's a 3-headed monster at this point. Yeah, you might say, 5 catches for 58 yards, bro. That's not crazy.
Big catches.
Watch the football game.
Yeah. Very important. Those are very important catches. Some of the routes he ran, very, very crisp, man. That was huge, Dre. You actually beat me to that. That stat line is deceiving for sure. Those were big plays.
Yeah, and just like you said, the manner in them, just talking about those out routes that E-Hall were having so much trouble with. The out routes, the comeback routes, the stop routes, it's like Tottenville being able to throw the ball becomes such a tough team to beat. Like, Curtis, I saw a bunch of those guys at the game. I'm sure they were there making notes, if we do our typical stuff where we bring 6, 7 on the line, rush 5, we got to be really, really careful because they might hit us with a slant in Nick Constantino and he might take it 60 yards to the crib. We might throw a bomb to Gavin Ledwith and now we're behind the 8 ball again. So, it's tough. This Tottenville team is very, very balanced, and just huge congratulations to Coach Neville. I know this had, especially the way that semifinal ended, he's in the interview. If you guys watch the interview, like he was thinking about that all summer, all winter, all spring, all summer. So you got to just tip your hat to him and how he's prepared his team for this night, and they took advantage and got the win, man. So, Jared, last words on this game, man.
Just a big congratulations to Tottenville. It's never easy beating Erasmus Hall. I feel like that goes without saying, but especially when you've just been so close and E Hall, played really well. And to still come out with the win. It was impressive stuff. And yeah, I hope we could somehow get this matchup again, because that was one of the most fun games I think a lot of people have been to. And shout out for everyone who made that atmosphere also special, and a lot of special players on that field. So it was a good time.
Absolutely. So congratulations, y'all. Can't wait to see the next super heavyweight matchup in the 4A. We're going to take a quick trip to the 3A. There was another game of the week, APR 31-8 over McKee Staten Island Tech. I'll take the lead when it comes to this game. Obviously, I was there to commentate it. This recap will be a little shorter, obviously, than the Tottenville E-Hall one, because it was all APR. It was all APR. I did learn some things from this game that I will touch on. But we talk about balance and having your second option. APR did not need their second option today. They did not need their second option. No. They were completely dominant in this game. The trenches, there were just gaping holes. Running backs weren't touched for 5 yards down the field. Huge shout out to my guy, Zaire Jones. I'll read out his stat line right now. Yeah. 5 rushes, 105 yards, and a touchdown. Interception on defense. That interception is something I definitely want to talk about. And, this was just dominance, complete dominance, Manny, Carl. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
That's good.
Manny Okapoku, 4 passes, 4 for 7, 77 yards, 10 rushes, 101 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ahmed Torre. He had a play. Ahmed had a play where he has 2 people on him. He spins, he cuts to the right, gets to the end zone. Ahmed Torre. The website had you at 1 touch. Oh yeah, the website did have you at 1 touchdown. When I was watching it back, I was like, wait, he scored another touchdown, but it got called back. We will talk about that. Ahmed, huge shout out to you. Tremendous player. 12 rushes, 113 yards, a touchdown, a forced fumble. Again, we're going to talk about the defense. And to touch on him a bit, Jair Edwards, number 58. He was the other player of the game. 3 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. And yeah, we'll definitely. This is definitely a point that I wanted to talk to. Jared, would you believe me if I told you APR scored 3 times on one drive?
Oh, got called back twice.
It was like the craziest. It was a crazy sequence. So first they marched down the field and scored. It got called back, and then there was a penalty, and then it was like 2nd and goal from the 18-yard line. Manny runs a QB power, gets to the 2-yard line.
Right.
And they score. Then they call it back, and then they score again. It was like I was like, this is crazy. Like this is just crazy, So offensively, I think the one thing I learned was I really knew that APR was going to have great trench work, and they proved that. I think their athletes on the outside and Zaire Jones and, of course, Isaac Suazo. Emmanuel Hughes just became a member. Really appreciate you, my guy. Make sure you use your emojis. and you're gonna it's gonna be a big month for the member only stream. So really appreciate it. What I learned from the offense is, they have like a lot of good athletes in the outside. Isaac Swazo, that's a household name in the PSAL at this point. Everyone knows how good he is, especially on defense. And on offense, he had a great catch at the end of the first half. And Zaire Jones, he has a lot of speed on him, good length. When it comes to running in the strides and everything like that, he took a jet sweep, 55 yards for a touchdown. And it was just a completely dominant performance. And again, on the outsides too, I wanted to talk about that interception that Zaire had, where it was just a tremendous high point. And it definitely instilled confidence in me as far as when we get into those super heavyweight matchups in the 3A, APR seems like they're going to have a second option when it comes to throwing the ball down the field, with some athletes who can go get it and some athletes who can really defend on the outside. Because on the inside, I think APR is elite. We are going to go in depth about the 3A later, because I put on the graphic that I feel like the 3A is taking shape.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially with this game alone, right? I mean, McKee, I'm still high on McKee, of course, but like this game I thought was going to be closer. But APR really controlled it. They got out to a hot start. I think, Dre, I mean, I wasn't there with you at this one, but I mean, APR having 319 rushing yards and McKee only having 48. And these are two teams that, have a lot of success on the ground. That says a lot. All around, APR kind of making a statement, I would say. But I definitely, of course, in the future, still wouldn't count out McKee. And it's we'll see it. We'll see if they meet again. But for Randolph, I feel like they're really clicking right now. I mean, it's pretty crazy what they've done the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and just from the McKee perspective of the game, they had a lot of unforced errors. Had a ton of unforced errors in the game. It just kind of really wasn't, they were like a little off. Clearly just right from getting off the bus. They had 3 key players missing. So that definitely hurt them. But one player I want to shout out is number 3, Rafael Guerrero. I thought he really showed, a lot of highlights in this game, showed a lot of athleticism. Mm-hmm. And for McKee, it's kind of one of those things like kind of dust yourself off. Like, yeah, you lost your big game, but it's early in the season. There's no time to think about this so much. Just move on to the next, because, there's tough games and you got to get ready for the playoffs, man. So, anything else on this game?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. But shout out big boys up front for APR, and then Torre, Apoku, and Jones all rushing for over 100 yards. Man, it's really impressive.
Oh, I do have one last thing on this game.
Yeah, go for it. Talking about
my guy Carl. All right. Listen. Manny, Zaire, and Ahmed Torre, you guys are hilarious. Like, that was probably the most off the rails interview I've ever done. But listen, I want to shout you guys out because, first of all, you guys weren't blatantly disrespectful, right? Yeah, you name dropped a couple of teams, but I don't think that you guys were. You see, I finally got it right. I'll call myself out. I could not listen. At that point, I had worked 3 games. I was very, very tired. My fault. I could not get the names right during that interview. That was ridiculous. That's my fault. That's never, ever happened before. But it was kind of funny, to be honest with you. What I think that Coach Perlo is really instilling an APR versus everyone kind of mentality. And I really do love that. Like, I think Manny is a tremendous, tremendous leader. Like, he is like a no messing around kind of leader. And, I think that, it really hurt them not how the last season ended, right? They lose the last game of the season. Forgive me, I can't remember. Was it Brooklyn Tech? Jerry, if you don't mind just looking that up for me real quick. I think last year it was Brooklyn Tech. They lost.
Oh, APR?
Yes.
Yeah, they lost to Brooklyn Tech in the semis.
No, but in the last game of the season, was it Brooklyn Tech they lost? They lost in the last, because I remember.
Oh man, yeah, I got you. I'll look it up. They definitely lost to BK Tech twice.
Yeah, I can actually find it.
Last game of the regular season, you're right. No,
yeah, it was Brooklyn
they lost to Brooklyn Tech.
Yeah. So they lost to Brooklyn Tech in the last game of the season, which made them have to go on the road in the semifinal where they fell short. 21-20 in the last game of the regular season and 28-20 in the semifinals. So I really feel like, Coach Perlow is really he's kind of like really getting everyone together and is like, listen, it's us against the world. Like, and I feel like that mentality, there's some big games to be played. If I just take a quick look at APR schedule, yes, we're talking Midwood, we're talking Truman, we're talking Utrecht. Bayside's having a tough time, but then you end the season with James Madison, which is a monster. Oh my God, this is like a flashback. It's crazy. Like the last game of the season could be for the 1, 2, or 3 seed. So
yeah, that last game's big, dude. With how Madison's playing, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah, so
It'll be interesting.
APR really looks like they're really banding together and really trying to, stay focused and make a run. But guys, please don't say stuff I didn't say though. I never said. When did I ever say y'all were awful? When did I ever say y'all couldn't do anything? All that we've said is that we want to see you guys throw the ball because of what we value. We value balance. We value having a second option in case your first option isn't working. Coach Perlow, me and him talk all the time. That's my guy. Listen, you can lie on me, like amongst like with yourselves, but come on, don't lie on me. Like,
well, Dre,
we ain't say nothing crazy about y'all.
Sometimes if other media says something crazy, the kids just decide to get it mixed up and blame it on us. So,
by the way, we will talk about the peg legs.
The peg legs. Oh.
I think it was Carl who put it in the chat. I didn't realize, like, someone in the McKee game was like, is their names actually the peg legs? I brought up Stuyvesant. I was like, I was like, he just asked, but in the chat, he was just like, is their names the peg legs? I was like, what is this person talking about? What does that even mean?
No, they are the peg legs.
and then I figured it out later. Oh man, so huge shout out to APR. Now, if y'all didn't know, hopefully y'all were tuned into Sage Media this weekend because we had 3 games that were absolute cinema. And honestly, this game is, in my opinion, becoming can't miss TV in the PSAL 4A.
Yo, this was crazy.
57
crazy.
42 Eagle over JFK. Eagle Academy finally Eagle Academy finally break the streak. They were on a 3-game losing streak to JFK. And apparently it was me. This is the one game I missed and Eagle won. I mean, Jared, I will give you the task of going first because it's too much to go over this game.
Yeah, so after my insanely long ride to Staten Island, I turned on this game and I was like, wait a minute. Like, why is the score like so high already?
By
And
the way,
like,
it was, I think after the first quarter, I think it was 8-6, by the way. After
it
the
was
first
8-6, but I turned it on, I want to say like middle of the second quarter where the fireworks started happening. And I was just like, oh my goodness. I think at halftime it was 33-30. It was something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I was just like, wow, man. Like, I did not think Kennedy was scoring 30 first half points, but they did. Like, it was honestly just nuts. But Eagles offense, no one has stopped them yet. Martin Copeland looked good. Aaron Smith looked good. What, the wide receivers? What do they call themselves? Sliders University. They couldn't be stopped. I mean, they still haven't been stopped. And they put on a show. So the offense did their thing, but I mean, so did JFK's offense. JFK was doing whatever they wanted in that first half also. They were throwing the ball, they were running it. It was crazy.
I just want to stop and acknowledge this because this is a hilarious message here.
Gotta throw in JV. That's good.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it was Derek Betances did go crazy. He had a couple big plays, and so did this is a kid that we talked about in the Lincoln game too, Samake from JFK.
Yes, Amadou Samake.
Amadou Samake had a big game also for them, and that was really impressive. He did his thing, and I don't know if you remember this when we had Coach O on in the preseason show. He said, he was like, guys, look out for this kid named Josiah Buford. He actually said that. I remembered it.
He did, yeah.
And he had a great game. He had a nice touchdown catch in traffic. So that was very impressive. But unfortunately for JFK, they weren't stopping Eagle, and they were not stopping one of the most electric sophomores in all of New York, Zaire Schulters. He went off. He had another great game. You want to talk about some of the top 2028 football players in the state, and I'm not I'm just talking like just great on the high school football field, man. Schulters just puts on a show, and he had a great game. So a lot of credit to him, and also I know you're super high on Tyler Grayson as I am as well. He had another huge game.
So let me tell you something about this game, right? So, all right, I'm just gonna wing it. I can't find the note. So, I'm watching the game, right? So obviously, if you guys didn't know, all right, real quick, Joshua, we are getting to the 2A later. There's obviously a lot of other stuff we have to get to first. And Scoob, what up, my guy? Nice to see you. Shout out to 100 people in here. So I watched this game on Sunday for the first time. Like, even though it was on Stage Media, obviously I was in Staten Island getting ready, so I couldn't watch the game. Then I had to go to Uptown for APR game, so I couldn't watch the game till Sunday. So I'm watching this game, right? And I'm watching Tyler Grayson return the punt. And I said, wow, you know what? I called Jared, called my boy LJ, word to them, and I say, yo, when we do our list at the end of the year, we're going to have a problem.
Oh, I remember this exact conversation.
I said, word to Jared. I said, Jared,
yeah,
we are going to have a problem because Justice Murray, Kasim Cromwell, and Tyler Grayson all going for 2 spots on that first team athlete list. And then I kept watching the game. And then I made a realization. I said, oh my God. Zaire Schulters is one of the most electrifying players in this league as well. And he might be an athlete too.
gonna be hard. It's gonna be really, really difficult, man.
Like,
There's probably someone else or a few other players that might come out of the woodworks, but
listen,
yeah, man.
I might have to have a serious conversation. I don't know. I don't know if I have to ask them themselves, but yo, where you guys would be categorized as? Because it is tough. I mean, Tyler Grayson and Zaire are just tremendous, tremendous athletes. You know, they bring so much versatility to the Eagle Academy offense because, again, they bring the balance. You know, it's not all about the sliders, right? It's about what they can do on the ground, led by that great offensive line as well. The offensive line is very physical. That before I was really ready to say how good of a team Eagle Academy is, you know, I needed to see their level of physicality. I think that offensive line, Eric Rodriguez, Luis Teneo, Imperial Jenkins, you know, they are very physical, and they broke off a lot of big runs in this game. And there are two players that I haven't spoken about yet for a reason, right? You know, of course, Juvens Lindor, man.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, is a player, I think he's 6'3". I think he's about 6'3". He gets off the ball. He high points the ball. He could catch slants. He was unstoppable. Eagle Academy, why don't you have your stats up?
Yeah, it was painful.
That is actually ridiculous, Eagle, because
on a game like this too.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Juju had 2 touchdowns. If I'm not mistaken, maybe it was 3. Yeah, I can't tell you. Just tremendous, tremendous job from Juju. He is the best deep threat in this league. I think I can just say that. Yes, Kylan, Anthony, and Omar, shout out to them as well. Couldn't remember everyone's name off the top of my head, but shout out to them as well. And then we're finally here on Josiah Brown, and that's another player who it's like, where are we going to categorize him at the end of the year? Because Josiah Brown is a tremendous athlete at the wide receiver. He caught a touchdown. You know, another player that can make something out of nothing. And on defense, I really think that he's really getting comfortable in that safety position. He's really coming down, making some good tackles and stuff like that. Man, Eagle Academy just have so many weapons. And, you know, I know we already touched on JFK a bit, but, you know, so 2 touchdowns for Juju. Thank you. Derek Betances, man, you know, there were a lot of conversations I had behind the scenes where I was like, last season, I was like, yo, this kid, Derek Betances, is the goods, man. Like, he needs to be on every list. And, you know, even when we spoke about player of the year, you know, I didn't think that he should have won it over certain people, but I was like, yo, should be in consideration for the player of the year. Unfortunately, he got injured at the end of the season where he missed, I want to say he missed the last 2 games. But he definitely deserves his flowers. I mean, Derek Betances, you know, I have him at 285 all-purpose yards, you know, 2 rushing touchdowns, 172 rushing touchdowns. Excuse me.
Crazy.
172 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. So fast, so much acceleration. The kick return for a touchdown. You know, he is just a tremendous, tremendous player. And the ratings came out. The ratings did come out. If JFK can sneak into the playoffs, I'm pretty confident they would hop over Eagle Academy. I don't know how it would work if Eagle is able to get some upsets in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah,
I don't know how I don't know if it would be a multiplier if they were able to upset E-Hall or upset Tottenville or something like that. But you know, JFK could hop over Eagle. depending on how they do the PowerPoints at the end of the year. So
It's interesting. Yeah.
I know that JFK is sitting at an 0-3 in the league, but I think they have some matchups that they can win coming up, and this team, I don't think they're gonna go quietly into the night for sure. And I saw somebody mention that KV couldn't play, KV on Robinson, and it was definitely a big difference for the Eagle defense, and I think it is because he's a tremendous player. It wasn't no 42-point difference. I do think Eagle need to kind of figure out a bit on defense, especially with who they have to go play next week for sure. That E-Hall matchup is, definitely one to watch. It will be live on Sage Media for 4 p.m. on Saturday. But yeah, how many yards on the ground you think they had? You said they had, Jared?
Who? Kennedy?
Yeah, I'm sorry if I thought you said the full total.
No, I didn't say it, but I know it was something ridiculous.
I mean, it was 3, maybe close to 300, or definitely well over 200.
Yeah, well over. Yeah, definitely nearing 300. And they were bound, I think, to really break out. Especially if they're going against E-Hall and Lincoln and just getting better, and they were moving the ball in those games. Yeah, and they broke out, and they looked really good. Now they go into, well, actually, their schedule's insane this year. So, they get an opportunity on homecoming to, perform well against Fort Hamilton. But then, of course, you still have Curtis, Tottenville, Southshore, all those teams.
Did they change this game again? It's on Friday? Oh, my God.
Which one? Homecoming?
Thank you for this, because I swear they've changed this game 3 times. I know I saw that it was on. Dang. I know I saw that this game was. I thought this game was on the Saturday. It's actually on the Friday. Excuse me.
What, E-Hall Eagle?
Yeah, that definitely changes things for me.
Shit.
Logistically. Thank you for that.
No, definitely.
I definitely thought the game was on Saturday, but I know for a fact that it didn't say on PSAL it was on Saturday at one point. Oh God. Okay. Thank you for that. I have some logistics to do. Thank you. Okay, it was Saturday.
Wow.
All right. Thank you. I know I'm not sitting here bugging, right? Like, it definitely said Saturday at some point. I guess stuff that you guys don't care about, right? Like, obviously I run a whole business with staff, so
yeah,
I have to organize where everyone's going and everything like that. So it's very important that I know what day the games are going on. Anyway, so I won't be there at Eagle E-Hall, unfortunately. I will be at JFK Fort Hamilton. Before we leave this, how about you just shout out the quarterbacks for Eagle, Jared?
Yeah, man. Martin and Aaron, another great game. The fact that, Eagle, it's really shown that they have a two-headed monster in the position, and they both just keep producing. They're doing really well. The weapons are doing really well that they have. And yeah, it was impressive stuff, man. And I think what's so interesting is the ability to have these just big time plays, because they make some really good throws, and they also make some throws downfield that can really just open up a game, be game changing, and it's pretty scary. I'm excited to see what happens this upcoming week.
So just to take that Eagle E-Hall, what are your initial thoughts on that matchup?
Listen, Eagle has been, I mean, this game is obviously close, but they've been scoring at will, I'll say. Their offense has been dominant, but now you go against Erasmus Hall. Let's see what happens. I was impressed with E-Hall's, obviously their size and athleticism, and also Erasmus's offense. So it gets interesting. I know they're missing starters. The 42 points to JFK is a little alarming. And it's not because JFK doesn't have a great offense. They do. But E-Hall has a very, very good offense too. So listen, their Eagles gonna have to get stops. And they're gonna have to play to the ability that they know that they could play at. So it's gonna be interesting because I don't see like track meets like this. I don't really foresee that like happening in that game against E-Hall. Like I don't, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge test. If you told me in August that Eagle versus E-Hall would be one of the games of the weekend, I'd be like, all right. I mean, I hope so.
I mean, I don't know.
It's an extremely exciting game, especially how the regular season has played out. And it's time to put your money where your mouth is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if Eagle
totally.
Academy want to be in certain conversations, here's your opportunity. When I think about the matchup in my head, this the big thing in this matchup is how Sincere Hester and Chase Hyacinth can affect this game, because this Erasmus Hall offensive line is good. They
Yeah.
are good.
Yeah.
They are good. They are strong, and they are physical. So if those ends aren't able to be as effective as they usually can be, of course, Daryl Gatewood is a tremendous player, and Matthew Taylor is also a tremendous player in the middle of that defense. And of course, you can't forget, Nate Ellis. He plays pretty tight on the line as well. Will they have enough? Will they be able to turn their game up to the next level if E-Hall's able to handle Chase and Sincere?
Yeah.
And I love how you put it here. Like, it's time to cash checks, man. That E-Hall secondary definitely had a tough time on Friday night. That might be a huge disadvantage for Eagle Academy because they're coached by Coach Mouse and Coach Morgan. I don't know if Victor is still in the chat, but I can only imagine what practice was like today.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing in this matchup. If Xavier Hughes, especially, he's a game breaker on that Erasmus Hall defensive line. If Eagle can give these quarterbacks time,
Yes, that's where I was going.
If they can give these quarterbacks time, these players, Eagle really have some game breakers, man. So it's interesting, but there's also Justice Murray. There's also Justice Murray.
Yes,
who
that's
can just turn a game on its head. You have a Kendu Brown, who is, I think he's playing the best football of his career. They have a Jair Edwards who is tremendous. This is funny. I can't. I actually can't. I'm going to be at JFK Fort Hamilton. It's kind of how it works. I have to go to the game that's the furthest. This is how it works. My guy McKee, he is on his way. Life happens.
Life does happen.
All right. Anything else?
Nah, I mean, last thing with Eagle and Erasmus Hall, we're really gonna see where each team is at, especially if Eagles within the top 3, because then we can call it something else. Let's see. I feel like I could go either way.
Absolutely. All right. So we have to take a quick trip to Staten Island for the champions. 41-7 over Port Richmond. I think as I take a look at the stats here, a pretty dominant win for Curtis, of course. Mr. Quadair Gomez, 13 rushes, 124 yards, and 3 touchdowns. The thing about Quadair is that he just quietly just does his thing, puts stats up. I saw him at the Tottenville game. He was cool, and like, you got Port Richmond tomorrow. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
The kid's a tremendous player.
He's great. He's great, man.
I want to give him all the flowers in the world because, again, I feel like, sometimes, it's other players get more shine over him. But Quadair Gomez is a great player. Another great player that I'm so happy to see back is Mr. Andrade. 7 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown. He also had a receiving touchdown as well. If you guys remember, Will Andrade transferred from Farrell. He's going to be a huge, they're planning on him being a huge part of this Curtis offense. Gets hurt in the first game versus St. Peter's. Of course, that was a huge blow for them, but Curtis is still undefeated. He looks like he's back. I saw a couple of highlights from him. He took some big hits, and he seems to be okay. And having Mr. Andrade and Mr. Gomez in that backfield, that's nice. That's very nice for Curtis because if I'm not mistaken, not so long ago they had another 1-2 punch, and they did pretty well with that a couple of months back.
Yeah, exactly. Now they kind of got. Listen, dude, seeing Will Andrade play in the Catholic League, kid that got some lightning to his game. That's going to be very interesting. Seeing him and Quadair work back there, it's going to be a lot of fun. And shout out this Curtis defense, Sean Shipman, big game, and they're able to limit these great Port Richmond athletes. So Curtis did a good job, and they just took care of business, man. They're they're playing their brand of football, and they're doing well.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Curtis, and I know I touched on it earlier today, is like their brand of football. Also, like some of these stats are just, we're talking about Adolphus Zimmerman and Kasim Cromwell, man. We're talking 7 rushes for 27 yards, 8 rushes for 30 yards. These are not scrubs. We're talking about the Fugazi Award winner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think anyone else on Port Richmond's schedule is doing that to them, besides Curtis. I just looked at their schedule. I don't think anyone else does it. So,
no, I think Port Richmond has a very, very good chance of making the playoffs this year. And again, when you think about matchups in your head and you think about Curtis versus E-Hall, you think about Curtis versus Tottenville. Like that's why I said I can't answer the question of who do I think are the favorites because those matchups are so different. Like Curtis is going to they're bullies. Like what else can I say? Curtis are a bunch of bullies. Like they walk into the field and say here. They say here. This is how we're gonna play football today. This is how we're gonna play football today. Or this is how I'm gonna play football. I don't know how you gonna play football. This is how I'm gonna play football today. So, what you got? And we'll have to see, how E-Hall and how Tottenville can fare. I will definitely say, and not only from the trench work from both teams, but the passing game from each of those teams. I think that their chances are a lot better. Honestly, if you ask me, I think it's a coin flip. I think all 3 of these those matches between Curtis, Tottenville, E-Hall are a coin flip. You got to show up on the day and see what happens.
Right now there's no I 100% agree with that. It's really tough to give an edge to either team, either of the 3 right now.
Yeah, so
for
I
sure.
think we're sitting pretty. Congratulations to Curtis. Keep rolling. Let me see who Curtis plays next week. They play New Dorp, they play Kennedy, and then it's so sorry. They play New Dorp bye week, Kennedy, E Hall. So
Yeah.
exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. That big matchup at Sid Luckman is looming, man. All right. So you know what? I'm gonna give E a break. E will be here. So let's give him a break, Jared. How funny would it be if this is when E pops?
Oh,
How funny would it be?
we did pretty good on time. You would think it'd be around now. He'd from our information before, but
so you're saying is I'm trying to set him up, right?
we did a good job of it. He was almost going to be there. But yeah, Lyle, there was a time. There was a time this was. But
48 to 6. By the way, I also want to say publicly, again, shout outs to everyone. Tottenville E-Hall was the second best regular season live stream we've ever done. There are more big games to come. But as of now, the Battle of the Floss 2024 is still number one.
yeah, that one's going to be tough to top, man.
Still number one. Let me quadruple check. How many views did that have again?
It was ridiculous, dude. The hype leading up to that game was insane.
Why can't I find it? Oh, here we go. 962. Yeah, so wow, I was completely wrong because this one peaked at 802. So sorry about that. It wasn't as close as I thought it was. So the peak was 962 for the Battle of the Floss last year. Yeah. This E Hall Tottenville peaked at 802. So still pretty comfortable. Still pretty comfortable in the lead. But of course, talk about this game real quick if you don't mind. I'll take the lead on this.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Listen, we come on here every week. Clearly, we talk about every game. We talk about all the 4A games. And I will say this every week. I don't care if I sound like a broken record. We all understand what's happening at Canarsie. They're building their program back up. It's going to take time. Yes, they're going to struggle this season. We have to cover all the games. We understand what's going on at Canarsie. All right. Some people are discrediting Southshore for winning and for being happy about winning. And this is what I will say. In life, it never helps to be a hater. It just don't do it. Right? Like, just let them enjoy themselves. They won their trophy back. It's a rivalry game. Like, don't be the fun police. There's no need to be the fun police.
That's true.
And you know what? As well, like, that was a really tough night for Southshore last year. That was a tough night.
They're favored.
You thought they were favored last year?
Last year? Yeah, going into the game, they were favored.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, you're right. They definitely were. Actually, you're right. And it was a tough night for them. Like, when homeboy, CJ McCracken, when he caught that game-winning catch, there are two sides to that kind of excitement. There's a player and a fan base going crazy, and it's the other side of it, the losers. Right? If you haven't been on the side of a devastating loss, it sucks. It really sucks, like really, really badly. So, and then also it's a different team. George it's his team now. So George is able to go 11 for 15, 258, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah,
That's his achievement, man. And I don't want to, rain on their parade, man. For sure. Jared, you want to pick it up from here?
hey, congrats to Southshore. Took care of business, and I don't know, like I think because everyone's like, oh, like Southshore shouldn't even pump, which I get, but like it's pretty cool. Like not every team gets the opportunity to play a regular season game for a trophy and a game that's storied and all that. So it's cool for them. And listen, the Vikings are building up momentum right now. They just got another win. They're on the right track because listen, a couple weeks ago, I think everyone was panicking about South Shore after what happened with Farrell and Tottenville. Yeah, so me too. I was panicking. I was actually really concerned. I thought they were going to lose to Port Richmond, but here we are. They beat Port Richmond. They score another 40 plus this week against Canarsie. They kept the momentum going, and now they get a really interesting matchup with Brooklyn Tech. And if Brooklyn Tech's at full strength, I think that game's gonna be interesting, and we'll see if South Shore can just continue what they do.
Yeah, man. And just to talk about their wide receivers, Adrian Answan, the
Oh,
Roadrunner, touchdown. Chase Smitherin with a touchdown. Rowley with a touchdown. Silas Sealy coming back to his old stomping grounds with a touchdown. Tymier Lewis with a touchdown. So they spread the love. That is very, very cool. And I want to give a shout out to, where is he? Tristan Smith. If I'm not mistaken, was that Tristan or Trevor? I thought it was Tristan that returned the interception for a touchdown. I don't see the stats on here, but I'm pretty confident I saw something on Instagram of Tristan, number 44, returning a interception for a touchdown. So someone in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong here. It's not on the website. Somebody let me know. I'm pretty sure that I saw Tristan Smith get a touchdown. And I see Peter Jean Baptiste, 9 tackles, 4 sacks.
yeah, he had to die. That was crazy.
Thank you, Gigi.
Yeah, it was good stuff from the shore, definitely.
All right. Anything else on this one, Jared?
Nah, let's move on.
Why can't I say what?
Let's move on. I don't know. Sorry, that was the spirit
hilarious,
for E. That was the spirit for E. Let's move on.
He said, "Nah, let's move on, man." Congratulations, South Shore.
Congrats.
Another game I actually thought was a pretty interesting matchup here. 34-14, Wagner over Fort Hamilton. I was only able to watch the first half of this game. Excuse me, I was only able to watch the second half of this game. Huge shout out to Ali Spencer.
Yeah, Toa Spencer.
6 for 11. Oh, sorry. How do you say his name?
I don't know, actually, because I get texted saying it's Toa Spencer, but then I see it's Ali Toa Spencer. So I kind of just go with Spencer.
So Mr. Spencer, 6 for 11, 191, 2 touchdowns, 5 rushes, 130 yards, and a touchdown. He had a 65-yard touchdown from a QB power. Very, very great performance. And another player I really want to put on my watch list to maybe be on some award list for the end of the year is number 6, Sandro Patella.
Yep.
I see you nodding your head. How about you talk about this player, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, big game from him, over 100 yards receiving, had a touchdown, also had a crazy hit. I think a lot of people saw on social media. Listen, this kid, he's a gamer. I think on defense, he was all over the place. Yeah, shout out Gigi. He did something really cool on him. And I think, he had a great game, 8 tackles on defense, hitting hard, making plays at receiver. It was impressive. And honestly, this was a game going into it with Wagner and Fort Hamilton that, I think, some people might have leaned with Fort Ham, or really just thought it could have been a toss up. But Wagner finding a rhythm, and Dre, they're sneakily 2-1 right now in the 4A. So not bad. Let's see what they got, man. It could maybe be interesting.
Yeah, it could be interesting. They have some tough games
They got to pull
ahead
off
of
an
them.
upset. They do. They
Yeah,
have to pull off at least
definitely
one.
have to pull off. But what do I always say? I always say that you need 4, right? So they have 2 already. They have 2 in their first 3.
Mm-hmm.
They have Tottenville. They have They have Tottenville. They have Southshore. They have JFK. They have E Hall. They have Eagle 2. So they got to find a way to scrape 2 wins from that. Their rating is one of the highest ratings in the league.
Yeah.
So if they sneak in, they hop over Eagle Academy. They would hop over a South Shore. They would hop over a Port Richmond. I really like this new spread offense that they have. I'm going to give a shout out to a sophomore that I like. I'm not going to try to say his name. No disrespect. I do not want to get it wrong. I'm just going to call him Oju. He's number 2. He had 9 tackles. Only a sophomore. I like how he looks on the field. Very aggressive. And also Sandro, 4 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Had a long catch for a touchdown on a beautifully thrown ball from Tua. And he had 8 tackles. And I love how he fills alleys and Wagner have some good looking players, man. They definitely have some good looking players. It's a very, very tough schedule. But let's see if they can sneak 2 wins, 2 more wins out of the 5 and get into the playoffs. From the Fort Hamilton perspective, I think Emmanuel King is that's number 7. Emmanuel King the third. I think he's a tremendous athlete. He did a really good job making plays and where he could, but for Hamilton, this offense, they get shut out in the second half. They kind of have to find their feet a bit in this division.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think go ahead, Jared.
No, just a lot. They have it's new players obviously from last year, and they were obviously this game was close in the first half. They had a win last week. I think they're definitely getting better, but you're right. They're still finding their feet. I think they have a great opportunity though this upcoming week with JFK. It's going to be tough. You're in the Bronx on a Friday night. It's homecoming. It's the Sage standout game of the week, but for Fort Hamilton, they have a lot of athletes, and it could be interesting. They're going against the JFK team, still looking for their first PSAL win. Obviously, they played a really tough schedule, but I'm looking forward.
They beat Canarsie last week.
No. I said JFK is looking for their first PSAL.
Oh, JFK. Excuse me. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, I kind of miss. Yeah, I was a little all over the place with the wording there. That's all right, but I think that's a very interesting game because if Fort Ham wins. And they were missing 3 starters that game. So against Wagner, that's an interesting point right there from James.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah, that's a good little tidbit right there, man. That's big. You're missing 3 starters. So now you get those guys back. Let's see what happens against Kennedy.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that game later. As the game
for sure.
Preview. Lincoln 34-0 over Brooklyn Tech. No disrespect to the Lincoln guys. I'm not going to stay on this game for too long because I know that Brooklyn Tech did not have their main man playing today. That doesn't take anything away from your victory. But, it was going to be an uphill battle for Johnny. Oh, I see who's missing. Okay. It was going to be an uphill battle for Brooklyn Tech to begin with. I mean, I see that, Caleb Fisher came in and played quarterback. Obviously,
like QB,
he's a wide receiver. Lincoln is great. Just looking through these numbers real quick. Christian Borhe, 12 for 15, 183 yards and a touchdown. Mr. McKee Negron, 7 rushes, 61 yards for a touchdown. His backfield mate, Christian Young, 9 rushes for 72 yards and a touchdown. Ezra Jose actually had 7 catches for 118. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, he had a good game.
And LeBron Hicks with a touchdown. So, this it was going to be an uphill battle for Brooklyn.
Definitely.
So, any words on this one?
I mean, listen, good win, Lincoln. I think honestly the real storyline of it is just Lincoln, since their non-league games, have really found a rhythm. Had Curtis on the ropes, took care of business against a good Kennedy team, took care of business against Brooklyn Tech, shutout win. They're rolling. They have an opportunity to do something similar against Clinton, and then Tottenville on October 17th. But that's a while away.
I just want to say, and I'm probably going to say this player's name wrong, but Awotunde Alston, he is number 13 on Lincoln. 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and a sack. When I was speaking with a coach from JFK, and he was saying that Lincoln has 2 tremendous linebackers. I could guess who the first one is. Obviously, fan favorite Ron Jones, and maybe it's Alston as well. So they have some high marquee games coming up very soon. Tottenville is looming, and of course they end the season with Erasmus Hall. Lincoln, take a peek at their schedule. Lincoln, they have Clinton. Oh, they have Clinton bye week Tottenville. All right, so Clinton bye week Tottenville. So Lincoln, and that is going to be a Sage standout game of the week. So they'll be back on the big stage, and they performed very well the first time they're on the big stage. So really excited to see where that Lincoln team is at that point in the season.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jared?
No, that's it. Good stuff.
New Dorp 38-20 over Clinton. I want to see a main thing here. Interesting.
Yeah, this one surprised me, honestly.
So still no JT.
Dude, but they had one kid who went off though. I watched the game on Saturday morning actually. Roman Sinsalaki or Kai, I forget how to pronounce his name. He had 3 touchdowns. He went off. He had a really good performance, and I want to say, like it was definitely a breakout game for him. Had 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was looking good, and Clinton really was able to separate themselves in the third quarter. They had a big quarter there. So that was good stuff from them. And they're running the ball a lot as they do, and they're having success. So good stuff from Clinton. Oh, and Carrie Peterson, by the way. I want to say he had a touchdown, but he was like all over the place on defense too. So big game from him.
Yes, as a player, I definitely liked a lot when I was watching the Madison game. When New Dorp played Madison, Clinton, I've liked how they've been pretty competitive this year.
No, they have been, and I'm telling you, this was like a surprise to me at least. I didn't think New Dorp was going to win this game.
Yeah, so again, especially about JT Rose, that's
exactly that
down. That's so tough. So huge shout out to New Dorp. I take a look at their schedule. Curtis is coming. They have to go to Curtis, Brooklyn Tech, Lincoln, New Dorp, Canarsie. So this is going to be interesting because with them getting their first win of the season, they could get to that 4-win mark.
They definitely could too. That's the crazy part.
That's going to be interesting.
They have like a good. I mean, I wouldn't say like listen. They still have to win a couple tough games, but it's interesting for sure.
But what's interesting too is if I look at Port Richmond's schedule, remember Port Richmond beat New Dorp in the first week of the season was something that I said was going to be very important coming down the stretch of the playoffs. So Port Richmond has a win. They play Canarsie, Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn Tech, Lincoln, and Clinton. A lot of winnable games there, depending on what happens. Yeah, that race for the playoffs is going to be very, very interesting.
It's gonna be tight. Really is.
Between Wagner, Staten Island, Lord mercy, the infighting. Wagner, Port Richmond, and New Dorp. And then you have to throw JFK into the mix as well.
Yeah. And honestly, you look at Brooklyn Tech's schedule, throw them in there.
Yeah, we got to see the health of the quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. We really do need to figure that out. Because if he's healthy, you have to put them in that conversation.
And this is not us counting anyone out. Obviously, anything can happen. We're just kind of going by the information we have. Amari, stay in the chat. We're going to talk about you guys in a minute. Hello, by the way. Brooklyn Tech, Southshore, New Dorp. Yeah, so that New Dorp Brooklyn Tech game is going to eliminate one of those two teams from the playoffs, essentially. Would you agree to that?
Unless Brooklyn Tech pulls off an upset this week, yeah, probably. I agree with that.
Yeah,
that's going to be a huge game on the 17th for sure.
And then Brooklyn Tech plays Port Richmond the next week, so yeah, well, it's going to figure itself out essentially.
No, it gets pretty crazy. It does.
It's kind of interesting that Port Richmond or New York don't play Wagner. That's kind of interesting. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not crazy when I say that. Now my website is crashing. Yeah, they don't play Wagner, which is very interesting. Yeah, all right. So that's a little preview to the, and this is of course us assuming that things go chalk. We're assuming that Eagle Academy and South Shore, if they continue on the way they're looking, that those teams will be in the playoffs. But you never know what can happen.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so that is the 4A roundup. I know that we touched on this a bit, but we have JFK versus Fort Hamilton as the Sage standout game of the week. This game will be a members only stream. I know it's not on the graphic, but we will update the graphic in the future or tomorrow. Shout out to my guy LJ. So we will update this graphic. It will be a member only, so let me put that in the chat again. Do I still have it pasted? I do. So become a member so you don't miss out on this game. This is a game I was really excited about in the preseason. I'm still really excited about this game, especially a JFK team that is just coming off scoring 47 points. Derek Betances, just a tremendous game in that Eagle game. And you guys know I probably sound like a corporate man, freaking broken record. I believe this game of the week series really has some magic to it. Because I swear every game, like somebody new pops up and becomes a star. Here's a chance.
Let's keep happening. It does.
Here's a chance for Aiden Porter, man. Aiden Porter, Emmanuel King III, and this Fort Hamilton team. Like, what could be sweeter than going to the Bronx and ruining someone's homecoming? Jared, your thoughts on this game, man?
I mean, it could literally. I mean, the life that it would give Fort Hamilton would be insane if they win this game. Because then they have like a real kind of kind of route to the playoffs if they beat Kennedy, because then after that, it's like, okay, Fordham has 2 straight wins. Well, they have 2 wins, I should say. And then it's Port Richmond, Southshore, New Dorp, and Brooklyn Tech, where maybe they steal something. But with this game, I'm really excited for it. I want to see these Fordham offensive guys. I want to see if they're able to, continue finding a rhythm. I've always, like last year, I liked what I saw from Emmanuel King and Aiden Porter, and I think they're getting better each week. So I'm excited to see what they can do. But here's the question: is Ford Hamilton going to stop this run attack, Dre? Like, are they going to be able to stop Betances and Samake and these athletes and big physical linemen from JFK? And listen, it feels like we say that when we talk about JFK, but that really does come down to it, especially in this one. That wing T offense, it's tough. Eagle couldn't stop it last week, and we'll see what happens there.
Let's see if I can find it. Yeah,
JFK is hungry too, man. They're desperate for a PSAL win.
Oh, yeah.
They are hungry right now.
And if you haven't been to a JFK homecoming, JFK homecoming lit. Let me tell you that JFK homecoming is a good time.
You were there last week?
I somehow always end up at JFK homecoming. It might have been 2 years ago. I can't remember, but I've been to at least 2 JFK homecomings by complete coincidence.
That's good.
Maybe because they had a lot of confidence to Eagles, so they always schedule Eagle. I don't know. That's obviously a joke. I don't know.
Good.
No, yeah. So I just want to put a highlight too on 2 players that I thought were really, really tough in the middle of that JFK defense, and that's number 52, Jeremy Conception, and number 72, Yosami Fernandez, both juniors, and they are pretty game-breaking players, really physical, big kids. So for him, you guys got to come into this thinking like, yo, this is our shot. This is our shot on the big stage, on the Sage Media Standout Game of the Week to make something happen. And the beautiful thing about this is JFK saying the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is our shot to redeem ourselves. Let's do it, and that's what makes great matchups. So I'm really excited for this one. Anything else, Jared?
No, I mean, I'm just pumped, and it's huge opportunity for both of these teams to really find their footing and potentially make a run. So let's see it. Huge stage. I'm pumped.
All right. My 3A guys, where you at? I know you guys know that we have to do the 4A first, but it's your time now. We already touched that. I know we had a little early 3A talk. We're talking about APR and McKee, but there are 3 other teams that I would like to highlight, and I'm calling this segment 3A taking shape.
Oh, yo, those were the one all the way to the right of my screen. Stuyvesant, the peg leggers, coming out with a 16-point win over Truman. That I didn't see coming. I don't think a lot of people said Stuyvesant's going 3-0 to start this season. A lot of people said, you're wrong, you're crazy. But guess what? The peg leggers didn't care, and they're 3-0. Good for them, man.
So let's keep going for I can keep going with this game. Huge shout out to Stuyvesant, and it's a great example of a team where it's like, yo, I've seen them in the chat before. They sending us DMs like, yo, Stuyvesant, we played really well against Brooklyn Tech. Yo, we're 1-0. Yo, 2-0. Listen, we see these messages, and every time we see these messages, we're always like, okay.
Yo.
Okay. What, Dre in the chat?
No, it's a crazy statement because I think he might be right, but we'll see. I mean, right? There's a chance they might be undefeated until Halloween when they play Sheepshead Bay.
Yeah. I was gonna, Dre kind of stole my thunder here. That there is no pun intended because Halloween. There is a monster matchup looming in the 3A on Halloween. Stuyvesant versus Sheepshead Bay.
Yo, and that place might get crazy
Monster
at Pier
matchup.
40. It might get crazy, dude. If they have an undefeated football team, like I think they do student sections. I could be wrong. Stuyvesant might have to correct me, but if they're undefeated on Halloween, student section, and it like, I don't know, seems pretty common sense that it could be nuts.
Lyle, nice to see you still here in 3A talk, maybe because Monty's not here to lead with you. But yeah, so Madison plays Sheepshead. Sheepshead plays Stuyvesant. Does Madison play Stuyvesant though? Madison does not play Stuyvesant.
No.
But the three of these teams do play each other. Well, excuse me. Like Madison plays Sheepshead. Sheepshead plays Stuyvesant.
Yeah, Sheepshead plays Stuyvesant.
So the first player I want to talk about is a player that again is on my watch list for. Wow. Is this true? I thought him and Monty always left when we talked about the 3A. No? Wasn't that the joke? I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Y'all left before we talked about the 2A. Yo, man. So one of the players that is on my players to watch list is number 44 from Stuyvesant, Isaac Strong, man.
Yes, dude. What a game.
My God.
Dude, kid was a you better have one of the best performances like across the whole PSAL. But I'll go into it, Dre. You got it.
Yo, man. He's a junior, 6'2", 185. Apparently, he's had 9 pass breakups in the regular season at the safety position. I love how he comes down and hits. He had a 60-plus yard touchdown from a wide receiver screen against Truman. He's just a pure athlete. Like I like this player a lot, man. And again, we talk about putting yourselves on the map. Like this is how you do it. You just keep performing, and you will get on our radar. So Isaac Sprung, tremendous athlete, only a junior. Great deep threat as well. And I really, really like, Stuyvesant off their offensive scheme. They run a lot of different formations. Loving what the coaches got going on over there. And Stuyvesant was down 14-6 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Down 14-6 at halftime. And then they come out of the second half with a 24-0 third quarter. Stuyvesant, we watching you now. So we watching y'all now. So huge shout outs to him. And I do want to give a shout out to, I understand that we're saying that the 3A is taking shape. We're not counting out any of these teams, especially Truman. We spoke about, Truman was a team that was in the semifinal last year. Siobhan Richardson is a tremendous player. He had 9 receptions, 96 yards for a touchdown, 5 rushes for 30 yards and a touchdown. So I don't think Truman is going to go quietly into the night. I know they've had 2 tough losses to 2 of the teams on the screen, James Madison and Stuyvesant. But guys, if I take a look at Truman's schedule, I don't even say that. Truman's schedule has been relentless this year. Madison, Midwood, Stuyvesant, Utrecht, APR, Sheepshead Bay, Dozo, McKee.
Was that Truman's schedule?
That's Truman's schedule. Yeah, they've had a.
No, they're in a gauntlet, bro.
Yeah, so we're definitely not ruling them out.
They got no games off.
Definitely not ruling them out for sure. I want to jump to James Madison going on the road, being a new Utrecht team. 28-12. Halftime score was 12-6, and they pretty much didn't look back. I saw him post this on his page. quarterback for James Madison, Ray. It's definitely on my watch list as well. Even in that New Dorp game. And if someone could put the pronunciation of Ray's last name, I don't want to butcher it. When I saw him against New Dorp, they definitely lost the matchup up front in that game. But I said, this kid Ray has some flashes of being a really good player. And 13 for 19, 142 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tremendous effort. They're able to hold down Ishmael Alcindor. We know how good that player is for Utrecht. Only 17 rushes for 60 yards. And I want to make sure I get the right player. Travis Leahy, he was the hero of the Truman game. He had 13 rushes for 48 yards. Also had four receptions for 62 yards. And this Madison team, someone said it earlier, saying that Madison has the hardest schedule. And I know this is something that we have spoken about before. I think Madison and Truman have the same level of schedule.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's in the same ballpark for sure. Yeah, it's similar. Truman's got a tough schedule, so does Madison. But yeah, I mean, shout out to them. I think the big thing, holding that new Utrecht offense is impressive. And I think there was a kid, I think his name was Dylan McDonald, who had a big day on defense for Madison.
10 tackles,
yeah,
5 for loss, and a sack.
Yeah, that's a big day right there.
Wow. That is tremendous. I'm trying to find, is this his name? No. I'm trying to find a specific player. Let me go to their roster, because he's a player that I've seen and I've been impressed with. Where is he? Why can't I find number 3 on Madison's roster? Am I going crazy right now? Someone let me know number 3's name on Madison. Why is he not on the roster? That's weird. Oh, there he is. Najee Hunter. Definitely really impressed with him as well. So huge shout out. And then of course we have to talk about Sheepshead Bay. Hold on a second. I was getting a phone call, so let me make sure.
Yeah.
Friends should know that I'm live. Yeah, so all right, so someone's coming like, yo, Dre, the stream is not working or something like that. It's fine. Sheepshead Bay 40-0. Najee Hunter, thank you. Yeah, I really like his game, man. A tremendous number. Taz, they call him. Yeah. I eventually found him on the roster. 40-0. Sheepshead Bay on the road over John Jay. I mean, Sheepshead Bay is rolling. Mikey 5 for 7, 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, how about you just talk about Sheepshead Bay, man? They are rolling. Taz, what's
yeah,
up?
they really are. Shutout against a John Jay team that, I know John Jay's got talent on offense, but this one was all Sheepshead, 40-0. Dude, Michael Misla is making noise. And so is Jaden Brownie. But Misla 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a really good game. Ahmed Cisse just he continuously just finds ways to score touchdowns, make tackles. He's been really good. Him and Jacob Reed were there last year, and you could just tell they're veterans. They're playing well, and they're doing their thing. So That's always good to see. And this Sheepshead Bay team, it seemed very balanced in this win. I mean, Anthony Milan had a touchdown. Jamar Thomas and Michael Howard were getting in on the fun. It was impressive stuff, and then a lot of guys on defense also making plays. Yeah, this one, it was all the Bay. Was it at the Tank? I think it was. And they put on a show, man. Well, see, I disagree with that just because I saw Sheepshead Bay
You talking about this one, right?
yeah, you know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, they haven't like I get what he means where they haven't played undefeated teams, but like, listen, I saw Sheepshead Bay play against Zavarian, which is a very good team, and I just been watching them play and stuff, and I wouldn't count out the 3 teams that they played yet. Even though I understand what you mean by record, but listen, Sheepshead, they're one of the best teams. They're one of the favorites right now, and there's no doubt. You just got to watch them play.
Yeah, and even to this one, I was going to address this one, like saying that the teams haven't played anyone impressive. But listen, like everyone can have their own opinion, but you know,
Truman's definitely impressive. So.
Yeah, like
and Stuyvesant and Madison both won.
Yeah. Madison, just like Madison and Stuyvesant both beat Truman. Truman is a very, very good team, and just to Jared's point, you know, seeing what Sheepshead was able to do against Poly Prep. What they were able to do against a good Zavarian team. And it's not like Sheepshead is, you know, struggling in their schedule in the PSAL so far. It's not like, oh, they're winning by 6 points and you guys are hyping them up 44-0, 28-8, and 40-0. Yes.
Yeah, no, that
is impressive.
Yeah. They're a really good team, man. They have a lot of guys.
And they're going to have the chance to prove it. How did we miss this, Jared? This stretch of the end of the season. Oh, okay. So we'll see about Sheepshead. The stretch of the end of the season for Sheepshead.
Oh, yeah. It gets interesting now.
Madison, Truman, Stuyvesant, and Midwood.
Yeah, it gets interesting now, man. It does.
Wow.
It is not easy going into the the playoffs.
Oh, wow. I did not see that.
Oh, man.
I mean, like I said, through their first 3 games, they've given up 8 points. Amari Britt, he was Amari, remind me, I'm pretty sure, but he was on the second team all city list for the media last year.
Yeah, he was on one of the lists. Him and Reed both
and Jacob, right? Yeah. So, you know,
so
Sheepshead Bay. All right, 3A. Why y'all always beefing in the chat? Like, why y'all
always, dude?
Every week, yo. Every single week. What's with y'all, man? Stop beefing in the chat, man. I want to start.
October 18th is gonna be crazy.
Timing y'all out.
October 18th is gonna be nuts, dude.
Yeah. What they said? They said chicken and barbecue. What's the hashtag?
Oh yeah, dude. I might have to go to that game.
Freaking roast fish, ribs, chicken. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a tremendous game, especially on the 18th. You know, the 31st, just like we're saying, Stuyvesant versus Sheepshead is tremendous, and I think that this league is taking a bit of shape with, you know, those 4 teams: APR, Madison, Sheepshead, and Stuyvesant being the most impressive. But like I said, you know, we're not counting out Utrecht, we're not counting out Truman, and we're definitely not counting out a Midwood team. You know, a Midwood team that got a win over Cardozo. And I see, hold on, I saw a homeboy in the chat, the quarterback. I think I saw him in the chat. Will Forte, 4 for 8, 105 yards and a touchdown. That's interesting. They scored most on defense? They had some weird stats here. Well, they scored 1 touchdown on defense, but they scored, hold on. Someone from Midwood. Oh, there's no way your stats are correct.
Oh, yeah. You see the Midwood box score?
Yeah.
It's not. I think there's some missing for sure. Because also William Fort, he had a really long touchdown pass. And I think it was to Egypt Reeves. Okay, I think that was actually in the box score, but shout out to those two, man. And I'm telling you, if Midwood finds a rhythm, they have the quarterback and they have the athletes to make some noise. Now, their schedule, of course, is insane, but they have the ability to make some noise.
Yeah,
it's just they have one of the the toughest schedules for sure.
Let me see Midwood's schedule again. So they got oof. Got APR coming to town next week. APR, McKee, Madison, John Adams, Sheepshead. Yeah.
Nah, it's tough, bro.
Whoa.
Oh,
we have summoned him.
Yes, dude. Once you heard Midwood,
I have summoned him.
Hold up. Talking about the GOAT.
The GOAT is back. What's up, my guy?
That's day one right there.
Jared, yeah, you're talking good about your team, right? So now you know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, they could do something. It's just that schedule's tough, but they got some guys. And now all of a sudden, people were so worried about, oh man, they lost to Stuyvesant 17-8. Well, Stuyvesant's a really good team.
Yeah, that loss doesn't look so bad now.
It don't look so bad right now, right? With them scoring 36 on Truman. So, it gets interesting.
Yeah, man. So it's,
good stuff, Monty.
Yeah, nice to see you back, man. So yeah, no, it's exciting stuff. The 3A. So hold on. If I just take a quick look at the top, we're not going to seed anybody. We're not going to pick any winners. Someone asked me to pick a winner. We're not doing that. Well, I will say that APR is the team to beat. That is something I will say. APR has earned that right to be the team to beat. Again, being the semifinalist, being undefeated.
Yeah.
Woo!
They're a co-team to beat.
They're
a co-team to beat. It's Madison. No, excuse me. Sorry, Madison. It's Sheepshead Bay and it's APR are the co-teams to beat.
Oh, is Jared right now? Is he still always right, chat?
Yeah. APR and Sheepshead Bay. Oh, I can't wait until we do tier lists. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But we got to bring that segment back, Dre.
You think? I was thinking about doing that, actually.
We should do a tier list, maybe after midseason, maybe after
during the bye week. Oh,
yeah,
bye week. Oh, we should do it in the bye week.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, we should definitely do it in the bye week, and only do the 3A just so it can be in.
Oh, that's next week. 3A is off.
Oh, the 3A is off next week. Oh, I never realized that.
We might have to do that next week.
Oh. I mean, we do have a lot to talk about next week too, though. It's Eagle, E-Hall.
Oh yeah, true. The game of the week. It's interesting. We'll fit it in. We'll find a way.
I was thinking 4A. Yeah, I was thinking the 4A bye week.
We should just do the 3A and 4A tier list.
Yeah. Guys, let me know what I know you guys love a list, right?
Aiden, if you're still in the chat, I'm interested because I haven't seen the atmosphere of the pier. Does it get crazy over there? I wonder if it actually does. Because it's such a cool setup. And the football, and they have a good team. So I'm really interested. It's Friday Night Lights. It's very interesting. I might honestly try to see one of their games. I find it cool that they're on the water and all that.
Fear the Pier is kind of funny. I like
that.
Yeah.
No
fans.
Fans. All right, so yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go now, but
this isn't just this is Newsday Jared Valluzzi. Newsday Jared Valluzzi needs a seat. He needs a broadcast booth. He needs a hot chocolate. You know what I'm saying? He's a little different now. You know what I'm
saying? You said hot chocolate, bro.
Oh man. But yeah, okay, sorry. So what I was doing before, I just want to take a quick glance at it. So we had the 4 APR Madison, Sheepshead, Stuyvesant, Utrecht, Truman. Oh Lord, Utrecht, Truman, and Midwood is already 8, and we are not including McKee or John Adams. Ooh, it's gonna get tricky. Yeah, that race is gonna get a little tricky. Can't lie.
No, yeah, it's gonna be
That
good.
race is gonna get tricky. Shout out to my guy, Coach Ed. That race is gonna get tricky. I can't lie. Wow. The 3A never disappoints. Ooh. Okay. All right. Anything else on the 3A, Jared?
We went over. I want to say we went over a good amount. Quick shout out to Bayside, first win, big for them.
Oh,
yeah. Want to do that real quick. Not sure if there's Bayside people in the chat, but
John Adams. Okay.
To get that W, I know Jake Robbins is a pretty good player, and he had 2 touchdowns. So good stuff for Bayside getting that win, and now they have a bye week, but then they have an opportunity at home against Stuyvesant to maybe pull off an upset. Oh, Ed! Oh man!
Wait, hold on. I told him it's safe. It's safe in here. That's what I said, Jared.
Really? Fine. It's safe. It's safe. I guess so.
Maybe you'll be allowed on a Cardinal Hayes sideline one day, man. Ed,
you didn't.
Actually, no. It's actually the next.
It's actually coming up right now. Stay in the chat.
But real quick, any 2A talk? I know there was
2A was off.
So you told me someone was here at the beginning of the show telling me to talk about the 2A and they were off. Don't piss me off.
Yeah, bro. Dude, they had a bye. I wish I just called them out on it.
Don't piss me off.
Yeah, nah, they had a bye.
Guys, listen. I'll let y'all go. Y'all not y'all been pretty good in the chat. Y'all not talking so crazy, but please do not tell us to talk about something. You can ask it. I don't mind it so much, but if we're in the middle of talking about the game of the week, do not ask us to talk about something, especially if it's a league that didn't play a game. Oh, come on, man. It's freaking ridiculous. Anyway, Jared, this is your section. I wasn't able to watch these games.
Oh, good. I was watching them.
Oh man, I'm so happy. It feels like I'm at home, man.
It does, man.
Monty, we out. Brings back good times, man. All right, let's get into it, man. I just want to give a
crazy.
Monsignor Farrell 21-20 over St. Anthony's. St. Peter's 20-7 over St. Peter's, man. Oh, excuse me. Wow. St. Peter's 20-7 over Chaminade. My fault. I've never done that before.
No.
The second time Farrell has beat St. Anthony's in 3 years.
It's like the second time in like 26 years or something. Not 26 years, but like in 26 meetings or something like that.
It's safe. You see the graphic, Ed. It's safe, my guy.
Yeah, we're talking about yeah, listen, I mean, shout out Monsignor Farrell. They're I'll start off with them first. Going on the road to St. Anthony's is a really, really tough thing to do. And the fact that they were able to go again and get a win, it was big time. Although it was pretty crazy. I think they were up 21-7. St. Anthony's came back. They had them on the ropes. A kid from Farrell blocked the PAT to tie it. and it was pretty crazy. Apparently, it was a really impressive block, but St. Anthony's got the ball back, and then they went downfield, and unfortunately, I think it was a 26-yard field goal, but I think it was wide left, and the front, and that was with very little time left. So Farrell escaped in that one, and beat St. Anthony's, but still very, very impressive. I think those two teams we'll see I hope they see each other again, honestly, but long way to go in the Catholic League, PowerPoints and all that. It's interesting. And then St. Peter's, this is one of the biggest upsets of the New York City high school football season. People have to understand what I'm about to say right now. St. Peter's had 27 kids suited up to go against Chaminade. Yeah.
How?
St. Peter's only had 27 kids suited up. They went to Chaminade, who I'll remind you guys real quick. Chaminade's just fresh off of a win against Archbishop Stepanak, who is one of the top programs in New York. Like Chaminade, if Chaminade was in the PSAL 4A, they're in like a discussion like with the top teams, like Stepanak, like you know what I mean? Chaminade and Stepanak's in the same tier, and Stepanak beat Lincoln by like 40. So Chaminade is really, really good. St. Peter's on paper, way thinner, not as good of a resume, got blown out by Farrell, got dominated by Curtis, and St. Peter's goes on the road and stuns everybody. Like, this was a huge deal, a huge ton of credit to the coaching staff at St. Peter's and all those kids who played super hard. Ben Terry had a big game. Anthony DeCunto threw a touchdown pass to Vincenzo Coppola. Chase Navarro is a baller. He had a pick six. Wow. So just a massive shout out to Peters. Wow. I really did not listen. I had a feeling. I was like, Farrell could definitely beat St. Anthony's. I did not think St. Peter's was winning this game. And I don't think anyone else thought St. Peter's was truly going to win this game if they knew who Chaminade was.
So let me ask the question now, right? Because I was looking at Farrell's schedule. It's definitely going to come down to, that last game of the season against Cardinal Hayes for seeding. But could we be talking about a Staten Island team in the championship? What do you think?
Yeah, Farrell could definitely make the championship. So the thing is, though, Dre, the seeding for the Catholic League, I have to see how the PowerPoints work, because the way it turned out scheduling-wise was weird. Like, I think, I could be wrong, St. Peter's, who's in the AA, I think actually plays the same amount of AAA teams as Monsignor Farrell, or they actually might play one more.
Yeah, I'll come out and say it. Like, Kellenberg has a tougher schedule than Farrell somehow.
No, they do. It's Kellenberg. Yeah, Monsignor Farrell only plays 3 AAA teams all season.
So you think that could?
How does Monsignor Farrell not play Archbishop Stepanak or Chaminade? So that's interesting. But listen, Farrell doesn't pick their schedule. Yeah. But then you look at like Hayes and St. Anthony's. I think Cardinal Hayes plays 5 AAA teams. They play Chaminade. They play 5 AAA teams. So I'm just like, if you look at the PowerPoints, I'm not sure if Farrell gets that 2 seed because they only have 3 AAA wins, if that makes sense.
Oh gosh, yeah, but
So I don't know. I don't want to be rude about the scheduling, but it definitely doesn't make that much sense to me. But listen, these teams though, they're getting big wins, and that's what matters. So shout out to those kids and those players and those coaches.
Yeah, you can only play what's in front of you. I didn't realize that it was that big of a difference because you say like, okay, well they beat St. Anthony's. If St. Anthony's goes on to get some big wins, like does that weigh Farrell's win even more?
It's really interesting. I don't know how it's gonna work because it's like, all right, well, if they're tied, but St. Anthony's has wins over, like if they have 3 AAA wins or 4 AAA wins, like I don't really know how it's gonna work, but we'll see what happens, man. It's one of the tough. my opinion, the toughest division in the state with those 6 teams and how difficult it is. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, man. So yeah, and I just want to give a huge shout out for St. Peter's as well. Like,
Yeah, what a
I am
win, man.
someone who has, I played at Chaminade, but I played against them, well, 4 times in my career. But I guess, yeah, I played only once at what's the Gold Star Arena, whatever it's
You
called.
go 0-4.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, Jared. But yeah, definitely went 0-4.
Yeah.
And it's a tough place to play, man. It's a tough place to play. Chaminade is a tough team to play. Peters reeling a little bit, and that's a long trip from Staten Island to Mineola. So
Crazy.
27 players. That's just nothing but grit. So shout out to that coaching
Grit,
staff and all
dude.
that, man. That's just a tremendous job. And I know that sometimes we can't cover the Catholic League in depth just because we give you guys like 2.5 hours every week. But I definitely wanted to make sure we highlight these because Faro and St. Peter just a great weekend for Staten Island. Just a great weekend, man. And also that kid Grum, man. We're talking
Oh yeah, Kevin Gum, he's a beast.
Gum, I say Gum. Yeah.
Gump, yeah. Or Gum, yeah. He's
I don't know how player of the year, those awards kind of might be wrapped up. You might have to give it to one of the Iona Prep kids
Iona might sweep
right
it at
now.
this point. Yeah.
But that kid, every time I look, he's scoring a touchdown, man.
He had a big game. I think he had 2 touchdowns.
I feel like he always has big. I feel like he's been awesome this year.
I always just say he's a really good football player, and that's what he is, man. It's very, very impressive what he's able to accomplish.
And also, I was very I don't know if Lars is in the chat. I actually was curious to see who you guys were going to put as the Staten Island player of the weekend, because I was curious because Braxton Moy, leading, Farrell to a win. I'm like, who are you going to give it to? But I definitely understand giving it to Justin McGuire for sure.
Yeah, that's deserved.
But yeah, you talk about best quarterback on Long Island. On Staten Island. Yeah, I'm curious to see where that lands between. It might be between Mr. Moy and Mr. McGuire. That's curious. So,
we got. Now I saw Carlos Mailspin in the chat. He's one of those monsters on the Iona Prep offensive line. Shout out to Iona Prep's O-line, man, and that whole team. They are rolling. But I will say, you got one of your toughest games coming up this Friday night in South Huntington against St. Anthony.
I didn't know.
I'm going to that one for sure.
Woo!
And we'll see what happens, man. St. Anthony's going to come out fired up, trying to take down the best team in the state. It's going to be interesting. And for Long Island football fans, I think it's a great opportunity to come out and watch some incredible football. So I'm pumped for that one, man.
Did you say you'll be in the building that day?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to that one.
Okay. Iona Prep St. Anthony rematch of the championship, man. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big one, man. I think that's a personal game right there.
When has St. Anthony not beaten Iona since the chip game with KJ Duff and all them?
Nah, they beat them. Weirdly enough, not last season, but the season before, they beat them.
Okay.
Yeah, in 2023, they beat them.
Okay.
So they got the W there.
We'll probably touch on that matchup next week. That's a big.
Yeah, we should. I'll be there. Why not?
Oh yeah, especially since you'll be there. Yeah, for sure. So when this comes on the screen, we're ready to wrap it up. 2.5 hours.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, and it's just me. He couldn't make it. It happens. We're waiting for him to pop in. He couldn't make it this week.
Yeah.
But we're in the next time the ball is snapped, we're in October. The next time a ball is snapped, we will be in October, man.
Yup.
We're almost on the right side of the list for the game of the week schedule. It's just so awesome. The support has been great. This is going to be the first game of the week that's behind the member only wall. So in a way, I am excited about that. Almost as a gift to the members, of course. And again, I'm going to put it in the chat one more time. I've been trying to tell you guys this whole time, definitely become a member. You get a ton of value. And if you don't want to miss any of the action, make sure you tap in. So we're going to have JFK for Hamilton, and we're also going to have Eagle Academy versus E-Hall, all on the Sage Media Solutions YouTube. I guess I need to find plans for Saturday because I thought I was going to be working. Man, what are your last words on the night, Jared?
Man, I mean, honestly, just super excited for this upcoming week. I don't know if these guys are still in the chat, but listen, I think a lot of people have been waiting for Eagle versus Erasmus Hall. And it's here. It's live on Sage Media. And we're gonna, I would say, make sure you know where to be next Monday when we break down that game and all the other games. It's gonna be very, very fun, man. And as always, really good time with everyone in the chat. It's always awesome.
3A. Why can't we just be friends?
They can't do it. They can't do it.
Why is the Bronx always beefing? Why y'all always beefing with each other? These are questions I need answers to. Yeah, man. Just really appreciate all the support, man. We were just over 800 people in the chat on Friday, excuse me. And I know that number is 800 on the YouTube channel. Excuse me, 800 viewers does not mean 800 people. Like, it means way more than 800. I know there's a group of people. They had the game on after the Eagle game. They put it on the Jumbotron. There was like a bunch of people watching in the stands at Eagle, which I thought was really cool. I still don't have a picture of that. Someone send me a picture, please. So that's really awesome, man. I definitely don't take for granted, what it means to the city to be able to broadcast these games. So we're going to keep it going. Hopefully you guys can support. Hope you guys can support Jared, everything he got going on. And that's it, y'all. We appreciate you, and we'll see y'all at the